This week, Microsoft fixes last week's Windows updates. Microsoft Teams finally gets a way to disable notifications during meetings, and Windows 10 and 11 group policy management templates don't play nicely together anymore. So this week's news has been dominated again by Windows updates. If you remember back to last week, Microsoft issued the monthly cumulative updates for Windows and Windows Server via Windows Update, but unfortunately they caused some problems with Layer 2 tunneling protocol VPNs not connecting on Windows 10 and Windows 11, and in Windows Server there were several problems, including domain controllers getting into a continuous reboot cycle, administrators not being able to mount REFS volumes, and the Hyper-V service not starting. Now, those updates were actually pulled from Windows Update, although Microsoft did leave them available for administrators to download manually if they wanted. This week, Microsoft has issued updates to the updates, if you like. So these are now downloadable via Windows Update, but they are optional, so you don't have to install them. But if you're experiencing these problems with your systems, then you can apply them either via Windows Update, or you can manually choose to download and install them, of course. Now, these updates are optional, which means they haven't gone through as much testing as the ones that Microsoft releases on Patch Tuesday every month. So I would suggest, unless your systems are specifically experiencing the problems Microsoft outlined in their knowledge base article connected to the updates they released last week, then you don't need to install these updates. These fixes will come anyway in the cumulative roll-ups that you will get next month in Patch Tuesday. And of course, this situation over the last week has angered a lot of system administrators. It doesn't seem that Microsoft is really testing these patches internally at all on their own systems before pushing them out. And of course, the whole issue of quality control with Windows updates has been a problem since the launch of Windows 10. Around this time, Microsoft got rid of their, or at least scaled down their quality control team. So these updates are going out. They're going out to Windows insiders, but of course it's often the case that Windows insiders are testing these patches on virtual machines, maybe not their daily driver devices. So they're tested maybe on a relatively small subset of hardware. And if Microsoft isn't testing these patches internally and extensively through their own estate before they get rolled out, then of course, especially things like domain controllers rebooting continuously, that is definitely something that should have been picked up by Microsoft before these patches went anywhere near Windows Update. If you suffered any problems over the last week in your organisation, then please let us know in the comments below, and whether these optional updates actually fix the problems. Now, this one's a bit hard to believe, and I had to double check as I read this. Microsoft Teams is finally getting an option to disable notifications during meetings. Now, as far as I'm concerned, notifications are the bane of my life. I have them turned off for almost everything. In Teams, I only have them turned on for when I get an @mention or a request to approve something. But if you don't have them turned off, then it can be quite often during a meeting. They're popping up all of the time. They can be quite distracting, and even worse in situations where you're sharing your screen during a meeting, they can pop up, and of course it can be a privacy issue as well. Now, Microsoft has finally addressed this issue, and it's been a top request from Teams users, and Microsoft says that this feature should make general availability at the beginning of February, and it will be rolled out to all Microsoft 365 tenants by the middle of March. But I think this is a very welcome change, and I'm glad that this is finally happening. And just to add insult to injury this week, Microsoft seems to be causing another problem with the management of Windows 10 and Windows 11, so where you have both those operating systems in your organization. So in the past, ADMX group policy templates have always been backwards compatible. So if you wanted to use the Windows 11 group policy templates to manage Windows 10, you could do that. Microsoft has officially announced this week that the Windows 11 ADMX templates are not going to be backwards compatible with Windows 10. So there's a little bit of nuance to this in that Windows 10 features, so new features that come to Windows 10, won't be compatible with the Windows 11 group policy templates. And vice versa, any new features that come into Windows 11 won't be compatible with Windows 10 group policy templates. So what this means is if you are using a Active Directory central store for your ADMX templates, you're going to have to choose between putting Windows 11 templates there or Windows 10. Now Microsoft says if you have majority Windows 10 in your environment, then of course you should keep the Windows 10 templates there. And of course if you have majority Windows 11, which is not likely to be the case for most organizations at this stage, then you should put the Windows 11 templates into your AD central store. So what does that mean if you have a mixed environment and you still want to use group policy to manage Windows 10? Well, Microsoft is saying, well, the workaround for this is that you just use a client device to manage your Windows 10 machines. Now, this may seem like it's a really bad thing, and there's been quite a bit of commenting on Microsoft's blog post surrounding this, but I would say maybe this isn't quite as bad as it seems, because as far as I can work out, it only affects new settings in either operating system, so it really depends whether you're configuring those settings within group policy. But nevertheless, this isn't great news from Microsoft, to be honest, and I would prefer to see better compatibility like we've always had between managing the two operating systems with group policy. Of course, all the time that Microsoft is still supporting Windows 10. So please let me know in the comments below what you think about this issue. I'd love to know if it affects you. And if you found this video useful, then please like it, because it really helps us to make sure it gets seen by more people on YouTube. And if you'd like to see this kind of weekly news roundup on a regular basis, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. But that's it from me this week, and I'll see you next time.